So I want to get into more detail on Chris and Shanann's jobs that they had worked prior to everything happening. I just described in my last video the job that Shanann had done that was making her $500,000 a year. This is also where I believe her spending habits came from, because when you're used to making a lot of money, you can afford, expensive things and expensive spending habits, and this stuck with Shanann continually, even though she made nowhere near as much money ever again. So she was diagnosed with lupus. She started working at the Dirty South part-time, and then she opened up her own photography business where she was doing like family portraits and stuff of that nature. She was also a nanny for a family. So she got very, very close. She was always really, really, really good with kids, and she had always really wanted kids. After that, so Chris moved to Colorado before she could move to Colorado because she had to sell her house. She built that house with the intention of making a lot of money off of it, and she did the complete opposite of that. So she did not get nearly as much as she wanted for it, and she also had to sell it fully furnished because it would have been more expensive to move her stuff across the country, and she just wanted to make it more marketable. So that really sucked for her. So Chris was in Colorado without her, staying at her friend's house. So they were living in her basement. So Chris was there first for several months. They did long distance while she was trying to wrap up everything. He was working at a car dealership as a mechanic. It was at Longmont Ford. And after she had arrived there, she became a salesperson at Longmont Ford, and she was pretty good. But then Chris stopped working as a mechanic because he got carpal tunnel really bad. So he started looking for new jobs, and then so did she. She started working nights at a call center at a children's hospital where she was only making $18 an hour. And honestly, this is really where their financial issues really started. He was making about $60,000 a year at his job, and she was making $18 an hour at a call center. This is also when they got pregnant. So they threw a child into the mix, and they started racking up a shit ton of bills, most of them at department stores, toy stores, kids stores, really going crazy with the spending to prepare for Bella. At this time as well, she started to sell Thrive. She was very early on at this point, but around the time of her death, she had gotten so high up at the company that she was making about $65,000 a year, and Chris was making about $60,000 a year. Still though, their mortgage was $2,800 a month. That included no HOA fees, none of the extra stuff. For the lifestyle that they wanted to live, they were definitely not making enough money. And I will make another video on all of their financial issues, but this kind of just goes over the evolution of their jobs.